I wanted to get into, and I wanted to just leave it up to you, Drew, where you want to start with your book Free at Last, or to go to start with some of your more recent articles.
Well, it's totally up to you. They're all interrelated because indeed we're talking about assaults on freedom in a most devious and dastardly way, and this, I got to tell you, in my opinion, the next 2 or 3 years is just going to be. We're going to either stand or fall as a nation by what is done by the grassroots. I mean, and that's why I began to write. That's why I began to do many. I've done a lot of radio shows, I got to tell you. And
good.
People are starting to come around. I think it's just funny how people turn.
I remember. Yeah, I remember when we first started doing shows, you weren't on very many, so I'm glad the word is starting to spread.
Well, yeah, there's a really important message that has to come out about the switch to digital TV.
Do that.
Yeah, there's really important reasons for that, folks. The traditional analog system can do everything that is needed as far as high definition TV, satellites, transmissions, etc. The reason for the digital is to expand what's called the bandwidth, so that many more broadcast signals can be transferred into your home and into your radios. Now, what is this all about, you may ask? Well, the lion's share of this expanded bandwidth has been given to the Department of Homeland Security for tracking the RFID chips that will be coming. You have to understand the reason for that, okay? Mm-hmm. The ground wave emergency network called the GWEN towers that have been established are there to basically network and crisscross the country. For what purpose? To completely track the movements and eliminate all privacy rights of the citizens. That's really what it's all about. The Department of Homeland Security has, in fact, contracted with the Verichip company. The RFID chips are ready and waiting in the wings. But you see, there's no sense in shipping everybody if there's no way to track them. And so they had to expand the bandwidth to do that. Now, this is so many possibilities because there's new technology in just the last 5 or 6 years that, my golly, do they really want Americans to lockstep and Heil Hitler or Heil Obama all in unison? Yeah, absolutely. That's what their goal is. That's how they can control the people. When that happens, of course, freedoms of individual expression are gone. So
exactly.
Station, please call 212-209-2826. Speak with Vera. She's our volunteer coordinator, and we would like to continue to thank those people who have contributed. Phil Romaine from Brooklyn, thank you so much. Lloyd Brown from Windsor, Connecticut. Yes, and we are truly tri-state at this point. And Terrence Hannon from Rosedale, New York. Thank you so much for your contributions. It's people like that and people like you that make all that we do at WBAI possible.
.com. That's 123realchange.blogspot.com. Today our
and we had an ambulance coming up right behind us too.
Go ahead. So, just be aware of the patents that are there now are being, again, the circuits are being manufactured for the interface with something called Hulu, H-U-L-U. I don't know if you happen to see those commercials with Alec Baldwin. They first aired during the Super Bowl. Where Alec Baldwin is basically,
the internet I wanted to get into, and I wanted to just leave it up to you, Drew, where you want to start with your book Free at Last, or to go to start with some of your more recent articles.
Well, it's totally up to you. They're all interrelated because indeed we're talking about assaults on freedom in a most devious, dastardly way. And this, I got to tell you, in my opinion, the next 2 or 3 years is going to be, they're going to either stand or fall as a nation by what is done by the grassroots. I mean, and that's why I began.
That'd be the best way to put it, right?
Exactly. And because each person's mind and brainwave pattern is tied to their DNA. Each person's DNA is different. Each person's DNA is unique, just like a fingerprint is unique. Okay.
6'2".
So when you have that on file,
on his cell
and
phone,
you got a guy like Greg Zemansky or True out there leading the sheep astray to their mindset, well, guess what? They can concentrate on you as an individual to bring you under their control. It is that incredibly powerful and effective.
All right, I'm going to leave that up.
If you don't fall under that, Greg, you know what else they can do? They can give specific frequencies through that medium to cause a heart attack, a stroke, or even just to make you violently ill for a short period of time.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is an absolutely true technology.
And if I could verify what True said by enormous amount of research done by numerous people that have come on my show in the past, I dedicated much of my show over a period of a year to getting to the bottom of the use of electronic weaponry on innocent Americans and innocent people around the world. And without a question, I can say this, without question, beyond a reasonable doubt, the weapons that they create through the use of electromagnetic fields and how they operate is very sophisticated, but has been verified by high-level generals in our country who say, yes, it exists, and we will use it on rowdy American mobs. I go one step farther. The evidence on my show has shown they are already using it on individuals in this country and around the world. So, True, that all dovetails into that story as well, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, to see that there's really too much emphasis, in my opinion, on these DEMA concentration camps and whatnot, because of the digital signals are fully implemented. They're not going to need these concentration camps because your home becomes a concentration reprogramming camp. Okay?
I gotcha.
Yeah, there's just there's so much happening with this on a breakneck speed. So the question then becomes, what do you do about it? You know, you identify this problem, what do you do about it? Well, you know, you can...
Sirens. Don't you love the sound of sirens? Some black dudes. Sirens.
And this, now I do understand.
A bunch of vicious folks, and now they've got the this potential witch hunt going on with the Attorney General. People in the intelligence community are afraid. They know that you can't come forward. You have no protections as a whistleblower. These things need to be addressed.
What do you mean you've no protection?
Well, like I said before, if as a whistleblower, you're not protected by the whistleblower laws that are out there. The intelligence community is exempt from the whistleblower protection
Explains
laws.
all the problems.
Well, ultimately, I don't have to be afraid of losing my job because I've already lost my job. So that's one reason. The other reason is because I made an oath when I became an intelligence officer that I would protect the United States Constitution, not a president, not some classification, for whatever. That ultimately I'm responsible to protect the Constitution of the United States, and I think that's the same oath the president takes for the most part. So, something like you imagine if we were like, I don't know, taking Americans and assassinating them for suspicions of terrorism. and then we just put some classification on it and say, well, this is super top secret, so no one can say anything about that. Well, at what point do you draw the line and say enough is enough? We have to say something here.
What was your classification? How high up was your clearance?
Well, clearances go up to the top secret level, but once you get